Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is July the 8th, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully, you had a good Tuesday, a good Tuesday, if you will. Mine was pretty good. Went about the same as yesterday. Woke up. I'm still having the same kind of ailments, same kind of little aches and pains. But, once again, around my first quarter of the day, I was like, let's just cave. Let's just take a little bit of Advil and keep it on chucking. And that's what we did. So that was nice that it worked out more or less the same kind of way. We'll say a little bit of snack corner. I've been having a bit of a craving for Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And I didn't want to buy like a whole box of it because I just want a little bit, just a taste. And then thinking of the calories on all that. So I got like one of those, the little like one-offs where you can fill with milk or whatever if you want. And got one of those and just nibbled on that for one of my breaks with some coffee. That hit. It was yummy. That was good. I feel like I'm having a little bit of a fat week, especially with the food I got coming up tomorrow. But I don't want to spoil. We're not gonna. I got the debrief on what we're gonna be eating at work, so I won't spoil yet. But yeah, I feel like this is gonna be a Porky Pig week, and that's okay. I'm all right with it. I feel like I've mentally aligned myself, prepared myself. So it's okay that I might probably gain a couple of pounds. That's all right. We'll work it off. We've been working it off. Been doing pretty good. So let's see here. But yeah, I guess back to my day. My day has been good. Like I said, we had our little nibble. Work wasn't crazy, wasn't wild. We went to the gym. We hit all of our equipment. That's Monday and Tuesday, our busiest days in the week. We get all our equipment. What? Love that for us. Honestly, I mean, it's still the busier time of the week, but I don't know. I guess maybe because it's summer. This is my first summer at the gym. I think it's probably worth noting, right? I guess people are just out doing summer stuff now, and any of the deals people or whatever, are just maybe starting to fall off. Also, maybe with the whole other Planet Fitnesses in my area having to be temporarily shut down for renovations. I think they're all back up, maybe. So maybe that's another reason why it's a little bit lighter, a little less congested at the gym, which I will take. I'm not mad at. But yeah, gym went well. I will say, I was dog tired. By the end of my workday, I was at the gym. I was sleepy, and I did all my prereqs to try to get myself perked up. I had my little bit of coffee on my last break, the whole nine, and I was still zonked. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. That being said, despite me being tired, and after my workout, I was like, I need to make sure I have more dried mangoes at the house, because that's been one of my snack big cravings. I love eating dried mangoes now. I guess it substitutes the gummies, because I've been really thinking about this, why I like it so much, because I love sour gummies. That's my jam. So I think being able to eat sour apples and then have the dried mangoes, having oranges, it kind of scratches that itch. So I was like, let's go get some of those. And I needed to get some more chocolate cashews. So I went to Kroger on a Tuesday, which I don't like. I don't like that I'm going back to my old ways and I'm going to the grocery store on a weekday. That's weird. That's not good. It's not good for my wallet. So, but I wanted it, so I got it, and came back home, and I just do some stretches, and then after I'm done with my stretches, I just plop in bed. I just go, instinctually, I'm just I'm going to try to sleep for I'm going to see what 15 minutes is going to do. If I fall asleep, I fall asleep. And sure as shit, I fell asleep, y'all. I think I was only out for a little hour or so. A little nap on a Tuesday. Nodded off. I don't know what this accent is. I just like doing it. But that was nice. I mean, I probably messed up my sleep schedule for tonight, but I mean, when is it ever good, y'all? When is it ever good, my dear listeners? Y'all know I just kind of sleep when I can. So yeah, I mean, that's been my day. So this is a little bit later, but not really too much later than usual, in terms of me recording, and I'm sure it'll get up around the usual time. But yeah, let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into some news. Not as extensive today, I feel like. Not as big of an episode. We don't have a big, beautiful episode, but it's a nice little sturdy one. You know what I mean? All right, let's go ahead and... All right. Our first story comes from The Hill. Trump. We have to send Ukraine more weapons. So we're flip-flopping a bit, huh? President Trump said Monday his administration would send Ukraine additional weapons after his administration imposed a pause on some shipments to Kyiv. We're going to send some more weapons. We have to. They have to be able to defend themselves. They're getting hit very hard now. Trump told reporters during a dinner with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. That's right, Netanyahu's in town. We got dinner with Bibi, I guess. Defensive weapons primarily, but they're getting hit very, very hard. So many people are dying in that mess, he added. The Pentagon last week confirmed a decision to halt the delivery of some air defense missiles and munitions to Ukraine, citing concerns about military stockpiles being depleted. Trump himself seemed to defend the pause, saying the U.S. needed to make sure we have enough for ourselves. Like, the thing that people keep leaning on, especially lately, when we're talking about Trump in terms of like, what are some pros? Like, what are some things that Trump is good at? And it seems to be like media seems to want to land on, and like some of his defenders or whatever, is the fact that he's so unpredictable. And I'm like, is that I don't know if that's a strength, dude. Like, the fact that you don't even know what your president's next move is going to be, that doesn't make me feel safer. It doesn't make me feel more secure. That's for goddamn sure. Because obviously it's not just this, it's like damn near everything. When we're talking about terrorists, we're talking about, new policies. Like, this motherfucker's left, right, and fucking center. You can't keep track of them. So, I mean, they're counting it as he's like some kind of wily tactician or some shit. I don't know, man. So yeah, I guess he just did some soul searching, did some counting, and was like, okay, yeah, we should we're gonna send it back. And Putin's a bad guy. I just got off the phone with him, I'm sure I'm wildly paraphrasing, by the way, but essentially he's doing that thing where he oscillates a little bit further away from Putin. But then I'm sure in weeks to come, he'll have another conversation with him where he's glazing him. Like, you just never know, man. Like, Trump's so weird with this fucking shit, man. So yeah, I just wanted to start off with that. I know we talked about that, I believe, on the weekend. Bit of a little headline hunt. And I was like, well, okay, well, he about faced. And it's not even Wednesday. Anywho, got another update from UPI. 10 charged with attempted murder in ambush at Texas ICE detention center. Federal prosecutors in Texas have charged 10 people with attempted murder following what they called an ambush of law enforcement late Friday outside of an Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention facility. The charges were announced Monday during a press conference. The identities of the 10 suspects were not made public. Authorities allege the suspects conspired to create a disturbance outside the Prairieland Detention Center in Alvarado, located about 40 miles southwest of Dallas, in order to lure ICE personnel outside the facility where they could shoot and kill them. A number of shots were fired, and an Alvarado police officer was shot in the neck. Let's see. We can just keep reading. Acting U.S. Attorney Nancy Larson for the Northern District of Texas said each had been charged with 3 counts of attempted murder and of a federal officer, and 3 counts of discharging a firearm in relation to a crime of violence. If convicted, they each face a mandatory sentence of 10 years to life behind bars. So yeah, we initially covered this the other day. We only really covered it from the perspective of the one guy. I know his name's escaping me, but he was shot and killed in the altercation. So in my mind, I kind of thought this was a bit open and shut, and we were just going to be moving on, especially because none of the ICE officers died. It's like, oh, that's crazy. Okay, moving along. But the fact that there was about 10 to 12 people all involved, kind of moving around, like, you know, a little bit of like a cell, a little bit of a group, that's obviously a bigger story now. So I'm like, okay, we're going to get into the details of, you know, a bit of what happened here. So the incident occurred shortly before 11 p.m. CDT, Friday outside in the Prairieland Detention Center. Larson alleges 10 to 12 people dressed in black, military-style clothing began shooting fireworks and vandalizing vehicles and graffitied the facility to draw ICE personnel outside. When an Alvarado police officer arrived on the scene, one of the suspects is alleged to have opened fire, wounding the unidentified responder in the neck. Another suspect shot between 20 and 30 rounds at unarmed corrections officers who exited the facility. The suspects fled the scene, but were later arrested during traffic stops, Larson said, adding they were found in possession of 12 sets of body armor, spray paint, and a flag that said "Resist Fascism, Fight Oligarchy," as well as flyers stating "Fight ICE terror with class war" and "Free all political prisoners." Over the weekend, officers executing search warrants discovered masks, goggles, tactical gloves, a cache of weapons, and what Larson called insurrectionist material. Ooh, spooky. Let's discuss this incident. It was a planned ambush with the intent to kill ICE corrections officers, she said. Make no mistake, this was not a so-called... sorry, my mouse. This is not a so-called peaceful protest. It was indeed an ambush. I mean, okay, you can specifically say this was a thing, all right? Clearly. No employees at the correction facility were injured. The Johnson County Sheriff's Office has said the injured officer was flown to Harris Methodist Hospital in Fort Worth, where they were treated and released. So there you go, a little bit of an update there. So yeah, like I said, things are definitely escalating. This was a bigger development to me, just because I thought, like I said, I thought this was a bit of a lone gunman kind of thing. But no, this seemed to be like a little planned operation, so to speak. So yeah, I mean, if I get any more updates, then we'll definitely be back at this story. I would love to know more. You know me, I'm a curious George, curious Cosmo. I don't know, whatever. Let's go ahead and move on to our next story. Let's go to Philadelphia, where things are getting a little stinky. From CBS News, Philadelphia strike hits day 7 as... you're just going to have to deal with that, guys. I'm sorry. Philadelphia strike hits day 7 as latest negotiations between union, Parker administration end without deal. Let's see here. Negotiations between the Parker administration and AFSCME, that just rolls off the tongue, District Council 33, Philadelphia's largest municipal workers union, ended over the weekend without a deal as the strike entered its 7th day, Monday. DC 33 and the Parker administration negotiated for hours Saturday, but were unable to reach an agreement. There's been no word on when the two sides will return to the negotiating table. DC 33 represents multiple city departments, including police dispatchers, sanitation workers, and more. Saturday's talks between DC 33 and the Park administration marked the second meeting between the two parties amid the strike, which has left trash piling up on city streets. Before Saturday, the two sides met last Wednesday into Thursday. Talks lasted nearly 12 hours before they walked away without an agreement. The strike has led the city to file court injunctions to bring some employees back to work, and 2 sanitation workers were injured in a hit and run while picketing last week. In a Facebook post on Sunday, DC 33 announced it was setting up a website for its existing strike fund and thanks supporters during this challenging period. Now, what are they striking for? Higher wages and healthcare benefits for all members. So, I'm on board. I mean, usually, it's not going to take much from me. You know me. I'm a pro union guy at the end of the fucking day. Better rates, better, working condition situations for them is usually good for everyone, not just that specific job, that specific field. Like, when unions do better, we all do better. That's just the way I look at it. That's the way I feel about it. So I'm always rooting for them. And yeah, things like this can fucking suck when you're in a situation in the city, you live here, and it's like, wait, so they're just not coming. They're not coming to pick up the trash. Oh, and there is some trash drop-off centers that you can go to and drop off trash. But naturally, they're only going to be able to, to take in so much. There's only going to be so much people are going to bring. You have situations where, of course, people are going to take advantage and they're just going to take their furniture and all the kind of things and just kind of throw everything out and leave it where it is, where it sits, whatever, and let it rot. And that's no good. That's gross. That's highly inconvenient to be driving around through, living through, walking through in the middle of summer heat. Really at the start of it, it's like, ugh, that's gross. That's hard. No one wants to go through that. But it's crazy that the city is holding and just fucking biting in to be like, no, we're not going to give you what you guys feel that you need. We're going to give you as little as we can. And we can talk the numbers. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little confused. Hey, I'm never good at math. Mayor Sherelle Parker and the city officials have said they offered DC 33 a 13% pay increase over 4 years. DC 33 President Doug Bulwar has disputed the 13% offer that Parker has touted as historic. Parker and the city had proposed a 3-year deal with 2.75% increase in the first year, with 3% raises each of the next 2 years. According to Bulwar, the deal includes the extension with the 5% salary increase that the two sides agreed to in November 2024. Now, he has a quote about the 13%. This 13% ideology needs to go. If the mayor wanted to hold on to that position, then the mayor and her team should have signed the 4-year deal that was asked for back in the fall, Bulwar said last week. They asked for a 1-year extension, not us. You can't lump that in now with the current term of negotiation. That's not how things work. So it sounds like they were on the road to a deal that made sense for both parties, but at some point maybe the city buckled and they maybe tried to rearrange the deal and say, oh, we like it better this way, or we're not going to really fully commit to this. And that's where we are now, is kind of how I'm interpreting it. So in my mind, the onus is on the city to make the shit right. It's like, hey, you didn't want to sign the deal now and you want to kind of scramble now. Well, that's a little too late. You have to kind of meet us where we need to be met. And that's a period thing. I like seeing, union leaders, unions as a whole, saying, yes, we're in it for the long haul. We mean this shit. I think it's always crazy that the government, the state or whatever, can be like, we're going to force you to go to work. And it's like, what? No, like, we're a union. We're like, we should be protected for this shit. And it's like, we do have the ability to compel you to do this shit. I'm like, that's weird to me. I never like that. Let's see here. But, obviously we're going to be here for more updates. But I do have some more to extrapolate on here. Let's see here. The trash piles in Philly have gotten so high on some corners that residents have begun to call them Parker piles on Reddit. Last week, a mountain of trash was seen in northeast Philly's Mayfair neighborhood, and it had an unbelievable stench, one resident said. The pile of trash was so large that it forced the city to tape it off before it was cleaned up. So, yeah, these are a couple of stories there. Obviously, it's very unfortunate to have to kind of deal with this. I did mention the drop-off points. There's like 63 of them. But like I said, naturally, there's still going to be pile-ups. There's still going to be people not committing to just driving, across town or even driving across the street with their trash. You know what I mean? If I can't walk my shit to my dumpster, right down the way, what do you want me to do? So, I do get that. I understand that shit. I don't know. Let's see. There's nothing before I move off this story. I feel like it's actually pretty important, and you got to give credit where it's fucking due. Wawa Welcome America went on during the strike, but the 4th of July event along Benjamin Parkway was missing its two headliners, LL Cool J and Philadelphia native Jasmine Sullivan. LL Cool J and Sullivan each pulled out of performing on Parkway, citing the ongoing strike. There's absolutely no way I can perform, cross a picket line, and pick up money when I know that people are out there fighting for a living wage. LL Cool J said in an Instagram post on July 3rd. That's fucking based. That's fucking based. And then Sullivan also, she said that she was choosing to stand with Philly's DC 33 in her announcement to remove herself from the event. So fucking hell yeah to both of them. That is the fucking correct move. I remember I got really bummed out. And it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I fucking hate Beyonce and Jay-Z now forever for this. I can never forgive them. Fuck them and all their works. No, I just was very bummed. I shouldn't have been surprised, but there you go. But like, they had like a cross the picket line situation for like an after party. Like, there was like hotel workers striking and on the picket line, and like, they didn't care. There's like, yeah, we're gonna have our little party though at this hotel. We're gonna make sure that shit is stacked and everything's accommodated for all of the nines. It's like, that's kind of ugly because you don't have to do that shit. That's a fucking after party, dog. It should be like, and you're treating it like an afterthought, and these are people's lives. So like, that's shitty. That's boo them. Like, tomatoes for that shit. That's ugly. But cool to see someone like LL Cool J, Jasmine Sullivan, both saying, look, I'm going to stand with the workers, the people. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not showing up for this event. And they got subbed out for, or at least the people who did perform, they highlight Alvaro Diaz, JoJo, as well as Mr. Hollywood DJ and DJ Ghost and Friends. Ooh, spooky! How you cross the picket line like a scab. No, it's fine. It is what it is. I really don't care that much about it. But moving on, we have one more story. I'm gonna try to mess around my mouse real quick. Bear with me. Cheap ass pizza. Anyway, let's take our last break, and we have some actual good news. I'm touting it as good news. I mean, in a dark world and dark times that we live in, we got a good thing, a win for the little babies. So yeah. At least in the fight against the boogies. Anyway, let's take our last break and we'll close it out. Oh. Ooh. Okay. Our last story is coming from Reuters. Novartis wins approval for first malaria drug for newborns and babies. Novartis said on Tuesday it had received approval in Switzerland for Cortem, I think it's Cortem baby, which it said was the first drug to treat malaria in babies and very young children. 8 African countries who participated in the assessment are now expected to issue quick approvals for the treatment, which is also known as Riamet baby in some countries. Novartis launched Cortem to treat malaria in 1999 with a new dose strength now designed for small babies. The treatment was developed with scientific and financial support from from Medicines for Malaria Venture, a Swiss nonprofit group working to deliver medicines to treat, prevent, and eliminate the disease that is spread by mosquitoes. The new infant version of Cortem is dissolvable, including in breast milk, and has a sweet cherry flavor to make it easier to administer. Until now, there has been no approved malaria treatment for infants weighing less than 4.5 kilograms or 9.9 pounds. That's a big baby. I think it was about like an 8.5 pounder or something like that, leaving a treatment gap, Novartis said. Currently available malaria treatments have only been tested in children at least 6 months old because the very young are usually excluded from treatment trials. Previously, infants have used formulations meant for older children, increasing the risk of overdose. Malaria vaccines are also not approved for the youngest babies. The 8 countries that took part in the assessment were Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, Kenya, Malawi, Mozambique, Nigeria, Tanzania, and Uganda. Around 30 million babies are born in areas of malaria risk in Africa each year, with one survey across West Africa reporting infections ranging between 3.4% and 18.4% in infants younger than 6 months old, Novartis said. So yeah, I don't know. This was some cool news. A good medical win. Though I'm sure, without, financial blocks and things of that nature, something like this could have been solved a long, long time ago. But that's neither here nor there, right? I like to just count the wins where they are as they are. And, try not to overthink it too much. This seems cool. It seems like a dub. Cool that babies are going to get, a shot that is obviously meant for them, and it's something that's like easier to administer on top of it. I think that's cool. So hell yeah, that's a dub. That's good news. Closing out on a good note for the day. So yeah, that's it. That's all I have. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have Patreon, patreon.com/Isaiah News. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. That's a free action that helps out a lot. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts. Whatever platform you're listening on, I'm probably there. Let's see. Leave a like. Leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring if you'd like. That's always helpful. But you don't have to do any of those things. I really just appreciate you listening. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.